Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the channel today. Appreciate everybody being here. Before we get started, if you could take a second and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to grow our audience here, and hitting that subscribe button will give me, help me out a lot. I really appreciate that. The topic of today's video is going to be leather suppliers. If you check out our social media and the things we sell on our website and in our Etsy shop, we do a lot of leather work. Usually when we do a hatchet or an axe, we include some kind of leather sheath with it. Depending on the item, sometimes they're a little fancier, sometimes they're a little simpler sheath, but we do a lot of leather work. Almost always have to make a knife sheath when we restore a knife. Most of the time when you find an old fixed blade knife, the first thing that goes on those is generally the sheath. The factory sheaths, especially the ones, the 50s, 60s, the West Cuts, the Western knives. A lot of those knives, the leather was very thin. They were inexpensive leather sheaths. Many times they held up for a long time, but that was usually the first to go on one of those knives. It was the sheath. And so I almost always end up having to make a leather sheath for those. So we use a bunch of different suppliers. I really haven't had a bad experience with a leather supplier. It depends on what you're looking for. They sell similar things. They don't all sell the same thing. So you're going to find, one supplier may have a buckle you like. Another supplier might have the leather you like. One supplier might have, if you dye a lot, like I do a lot of dyeing, one supplier's price might be a little better than another. The shipping might be cheaper on one than another. And, like any other commercial, selling site, they have sales and things like that. So I use four different ones mainly. I use Weaver Leathercraft. I have never had a problem with Weaver. And one thing Weaver started doing here recently was you can return leather for free. So if you buy a piece of leather, you're not happy with the leather, you can return it for free. And to me, that is a game changer because, shipping is very expensive. And, especially nowadays, where you can't, with things the way they are, you not necessarily can go to the leather store and spend hours on end picking through leather because of everything going on in the world. And, people are doing more and more stuff online. And with them accepting leather returns for free, that's a game changer. They sell good products. They're Weaver Select. I think it's called Weaver Select Veg Tan. I use a lot of veg tan because I dye a lot of leather. And their Weaver Select Veg Tan is very good. It's about $2.40 a side for 8, 9, 10 ounce, which is pretty decent price. And, the fact that they're accepting returns for free and any order over $100 ships for free. So you're not paying any shipping and you're getting a good quality product. And if you get a piece of leather in that you're not happy with, they take it back for free. So that's a good deal with them. I use Tandy. Tandy, they have not necessarily the best name when it comes to leather, but I've never had a bad experience with Tandy. I've actually been to the Tandy store quite a few times, especially when I was looking for a specific leather. I'll go there and hand pick the piece I want. They've always been very helpful with, help me get the best piece of leather. The people in the store are very friendly. So I've never had a bad experience with them. And generally, other than, the recent, over the last few months where we've had the lockdowns and things like that, the shippings have been a little bit slow. But prior to that, their shipping has been pretty fast. So, and they probably have the biggest variety of items out of anybody. So if you're double cap rivets, different colors and sizes of buckles, things like that, Tandy is probably the way you're going to want to go. They tend to have the best variety on most everything. They have a sizable catalog. They will send you for free if you reach out to them. I don't have a Weaver catalog. I usually just go to their website and look. One of the other suppliers I use is Springfield Leather. I don't buy a lot from Springfield, but the interactions I've had with them have been very good. They've recently upgraded their website. Their old website wasn't very good, so that's probably why I didn't buy a lot from them, because their website wasn't great. But they recently upgraded that, and they do quite a few videos from some of the people that work at Weaver, and they do a lot. They talk about their products and things like that, or not Weaver, excuse me, Springfield Leather. So they're pretty. They seem like a legit place. They have a store in Missouri, and they may have another store, but I know their main one's in Missouri. And from what I understand, if you go there, they're very helpful and friendly. So again, and one thing I want to jump back to Weaver is Weaver does a lot of videos. If you haven't watched any of the Chuck Dorset leather videos, he's pretty good at explaining stuff. And a lot of the stuff is stuff that I know already, because I've been doing leather for a while. But sometimes it's nice to see a refresher. So sometimes I'll even watch a video. If it's something I already know, I'll watch it to kind of give me a refresher, or even, something to improve on the way I'm doing something. He may have a little bit better way, but his videos are generally really good. And, I think he does some live stuff too. So I've watched a few of those, but, he does some videos. There's a few things. Tandy does a few video things, but not a whole lot. I use Rocky Mountain Leather Supply. I generally, pretty much the only thing I buy from them is the Ritza Tiger thread. They usually run a deal where if you buy 5 rolls, you get like a 6th roll free, and that way I can buy all these different colors and I can try them out. So I have a whole array of Ritza Tiger thread in different colors, and I really like that thread. They have some other higher end things, but pretty much I buy thread from them. Then the other one that I frequently use is the Buckle Guy. Anybody that does a lot of leather knows the Buckle Guy. There's a ton of leather people out there that buy their hardware from the Buckle Guy. His buckles are pretty much the best as far as I'm concerned out there. So, especially if you're looking for just a regular plain brass belt buckle, if you're building like a 1.5 or 2 inch wide belt, and just get that, they're nice heavy belt buckles. Some of the smaller buckles are a little too big on some of the things I make, so I tend to buy a lot of buckles from Tandy because they got the smaller buckles. But their Buckle Guy's got some really nice hardware. So it's a little pricey, but again, you're paying for quality. So, and then he sells Wicked and Craig leather. I've used Wicked and Craig veg tan in the past. Recently started using Wicked and Craig harness leather, and I'm in love with that harness leather. It is awesome, and it is beautiful leather. And Buckle Guy's shipping is pretty fast. I think the last time I ordered from him, I think it was just a few days, and I had my order already. So I think they're out of Massachusetts, I believe. So, but very good. So I've had good experiences with those suppliers. I'm sure there's some other guys out there. I've looked around at, but those are the ones I've pretty much regularly use. Again, it's the Buckle Guy, Rocky Mountain Leather Supply, Weaver Leathercraft, Tandy Leather, and Springfield Leather. Those are the ones I primarily use. I probably buy the most stuff overall from Tandy, but I use all of them. So, and you're not going to find one supplier that's going to be able to supply everything you need, especially once you get into the craft more and you're making more items and you're adding variety and you're learning how to do the craft more, you're not going to be able to buy all your stuff from one supplier. So those are my suggestions for you. Oh, and I recently even added bracelets. I started making women's bracelets, and because of my sister-in-law, she sent me a picture one day. She was like, "Hey, can you make this?" And apparently there's a famous DIY, lady out there that has a website, and she has these bracelets on her website, and they're like $67 on her website. And I'm like, well, I can make those. They're fairly simple. And so I actually started making those. I added them to our other Etsy shop. I don't really talk about our other Etsy shop a whole lot, but we have another Etsy shop. I added those, and again, I used a lighter weight Wicked and Craig harness leather, and they turned out great, and they look, to me, they look better than the $67 ones on the fancy website. So, but that's something I just started doing, and probably I might do some more, jewelry in the future. And so, maybe in the future I'll do, as I get more into leather jewelry, maybe, I'll find a different supplier or some other things, and maybe I'll add to this video. But for now, that's what I got for you. Again, I always appreciate you taking the time, stopping by my channel and watching the videos. I hope, these are helpful. If you got any questions, I can answer them. I may have answers. If I don't, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know. So, but just leave the comments down below and I'll try to answer them. Again, I appreciate you watching the video. Please subscribe, like, and share, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.